All right, welcome to the show. My name is Pramod, and you are watching the Founders Club live telecast where I'm going to show you how I'm building a product idea that I had in my mind. So, this is something that I wanted to see if this is just an experiment, but I wanted to show you how I build and launch an app live, uh, and that too, me being a non-coder. I wanted to see, okay, what do I need to do in order to uh, get an app live, and I wanted to show you how this works. So I apologize if I'm not all polished with my words, because it's the first time I'm doing it, but my goal is to kind of just go with the flow, show you what I'm doing, and then we'll go from there. All right, so the first things first, I'll have to start sharing my page, and for that, okay, I am going to I'm going to start sharing my screen right now. You should be able to see my screen. This is the tool which I use to build my applications. It's called Flutterflow, for anyone who's asking or wondering. All right, so let's get started. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to share with more people that I'm going live right now. And I'm just double checking if the video is in fact live. So thank you for holding on with me, sticking on this episode or show. Let's see who's live and what's going on. All right, so it says the thing will begin but nothing has begun, which is interesting. Okay, so I have started. All right, so are we back? Are we like, okay, so we are live. Okay, so I'm just getting messages coming in that we are in fact live. So I'm excited about that. So why don't we stop wasting any more time and see, what the heck is going on. So by the way, if you're watching this thing, can you just please leave a comment in the video so that I know that, you are watching. And where you're watching from, so that if you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer that for you. All right, so without wasting any more time, I'm going to start a new page, but why don't I first show you what the heck it is that I'm building today. So today morning I came across this interesting template which I saw, which talks about the prioritized time box method in more detail. So for those of you who don't know, this is a method that I created. I'll just go to youtube.com at the Pramod George. Okay, and if you go to my YouTube channel, you can see there is a video which I created right here. It's called the prioritized time box method, and it talks about, oh well, that's an ad right there, but it talks about how to be more effective with your priorities and get more stuff done quickly. And I built this application called Remindo. This is what it looks like. All right, and this allows you to get put down all of your things into a online page and then focus on the right ones to build. But today morning I came across another template which I thought was pretty interesting, which is this one right here. And I thought to myself, okay, how could I productize this template, make it into a software, and probably even sell it? So that's what we're going to do today. I'm going to be converting this template here into a software. So we start with a new page. I'm going to make it a blank page. I'm going to call it PTM. All right, so PTM stands for prioritized time box method. And yes, I'm using the dark mode to build, because I don't know, for some reason dark mode looks cooler. I mean, I wouldn't use dark mode if I was building some kind of a reading platform, but since it's not something like that and I want to look a little bit cool, I'm going with dark mode. Once again, if you are watching this, can you please leave a comment so that I know that you are watching this, and if you just gives me a little bit of motivation to continue. So I'm just going to leave a comment in the comment section right there. It's going to say hello, and you'll see it come through in just a second. All right, so once we've got that, I'm going to look at my structure. So it looks like a row in which there are 2 columns. All right, so I'm just going to share this for a quick second here. So what I'm doing essentially right now is I'm going to my group and letting them know that I am in fact live. So I'm just going to go here. Hey guys, I am alive right now. Come check me out. Have a moment. All right. Okay, so the first things I'm going to do is create a container. Okay. I preferably do it from here. Delete this column, add a container. I'm going to make this infinite. Okay, so that it stretches to the edges of the screen. And yes, I am building for desktop first because I want this to be a desktop application. So here's something interesting. This is a tool that I'm building for myself, so I'm not going around searching for ideas. I'm trying to solve my own problem, scratch my own itch. And you know, when you do that, you usually find that a lot more people who have the same itch as yours and willing to pay you money for the problems that you solve. So that's how you make money on the internet. You solve a problem and you sell the solution. All right, okay, so now you can see here the row is set up. I'm just going to give the row a little bit of padding, so 24, and inside the row I'm going to have 2 columns. Okay, and these 2 columns are going to be stretched. Okay, that's not going to work out, so in fact I'm going to give an expansion. I'm going to set this flex to 1 and set this one's flex to 1 as well, so that they both take up an equal amount of space on the screen. And inside this column I'm going to add another container with a infinite width, and the expansion is again going to be set to 1 for this. And I'm going to duplicate this container, or you know what I'm going to do, I'm going to set up this container properly first, so that when I duplicate it, you know, I don't have to duplicate all of the work that I did on this container. So let's just give this 24, so this is 12. Okay, and yeah, looks about right. Although I would prefer, okay, I would prefer this section to be this color and this section to have this color. Well, we'll check it out a little later as we are building. Okay, so I'm going to duplicate this section here, and on this column I'm going to give a space of 24, and this container, the flex is 1, but this container I'm going to make the flex 2, so that this is a little bigger than that. So you can see here, you know, this is what I'm building. So I've gotten 2 columns inside a row, and then I've got these 2 containers inside this row. And if I copy this and paste it here, okay, and I'm going to give this, select the row, parent row, and give it a 24 spacing. Well, now you can see that you know, this is the layout that I'm going to be building. Oh, my prioritized time box method video is running here. So if you want to watch this video and exactly learn how the prioritized time box method works, you can check this out, but we'll just close this for now. We'll come back to this. Okay, so inside this container I'm going to need a bunch of stuff, so I'm going to add a column in here, and this column once again is going to have a uniform padding all around of about 24 pixels. Okay, and then inside this I'm going to have 2 text buttons. One is going to be the heading, so I'm going to change the theme text style to headline. That's a little small for me, so I'll make it a little large. That's a little large for me, so probably medium is the right size. And I'm going to align this column to the left so that it's easy for, you know, it's just easier to work with. All right, now I'm going to do the same thing in this container here, okay, and I'm going to change everything so I know what the heck I'm working with. This is called brain dump. Okay, so every day whatever tasks I want to create is going to live here, and then I'm going to drag and drop those tasks over here so that I can see, you know what, I'm just going to name this here so you can see what's going on. This is going to be called prioritized items. Okay, so what's happening is, this is your brain dump. This is where you write all of your stuff, and even though this template is like this, it's not what I envisioned. It's a little different from this. So remove the item called notes here and call it brain dump. So all of my tasks will come here, then I drag and drop the top 3 ones into this list over here. All right. So yeah, let's get started. So prioritized item, I can see some messages coming through. Vaishak R, hello. Okay, I could see some messages come through, but hi Pramod, yes, hello Vaishak, it's nice to meet you too. All right, so now let's go to our brain dump, and now I'm thinking, right? Here's what I'm thinking. I'm going to wrap this in another column so that I can add a list item, list view, so that I can keep all of this information. I can keep this list or this column with one spacing between them. And you know what I should not be doing? I should not be having a padding on the child column. So I'm just going to remove that, and instead I'm going to have a padding on the parent column. So let me see. Okay, looks like the scene disappeared. Oh, there I am again. I'm going to add a padding on the parent column. Okay, just going to make it uniform so that it's uniform all throughout, or looks like 24 is now the standard size. Okay, now now I need a way to add data to this. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, for this column container here, I'm going to add a item spacing between each of them. Okay, and then I'm going to add another row here, which I'm going to move under this, and in this row I'm going to add a text field which will allow me to add the values that I'm going to create. Text field, oh sorry, not the text field, sorry, what do you call it, text. Okay, yep, text field, and let's go here and change this style a little bit. Okay, so from underline to outline, I'm going to change the label to add task here. All right, and I'm going to remove any kind of padding that this may have. You can see here it's got a little bit of padding on either side, which I don't want. All right, so that looks good, but I also want something along the lines of a check mark or a tick mark that shows up when this icon is ready. So what I'm going to do is add a button, and it's probably going to be a button icon. Okay, icon button, and I'm going to add a little bit of spacing here, 24. Okay, and in this button I'm going to fill color is primary, border color is secondary. I don't need a border color though, and let's see if I can change this to tick. Do we have a tick in here somewhere? Yep. Okay, so as much as I think this is good, I think I think that people may get confused, like, okay, what do I do here? So I'm going to try just adding a button with clear instructions as to what this button is supposed to do. So it will say add to list. Okay, And I think this is a better solution overall. This one I'm just going to change it to 42, okay, because I think, no, this is 46 if I'm not wrong. So both the text field and the button is around 46. Okay, let's see how it looks now. Yep, it looks about right. And spacing, probably reduce it to 12 so that it's a little more, you know, in touch with, I mean, it's a little more aesthetic. And if you're wondering how do I define aesthetic, I don't. It's just something that I don't define what it is. I just look at it. If it looks good, it looks good. If it doesn't, it doesn't. All right, so I'm just scrolling back to once again take a look at what I'm building here. Okay, so what I'm thinking is I'll write down my task and add it to list, and it will show up here. Okay, so in my list view, I'm going to be adding a container, and I can see a lot more people have joined in. Hey guys, thanks for connecting. What I'm doing right now is I'm showing you guys live how I'm building an application. The goal is so that you also can see how easy it is to build an application, and I teach this in the Founders Club, but I thought, you know, today being a weekend, I'll just show you guys how I do it anyway. All right, so I'm coming back here to my radius, setting a uniform border radius to about 12, and I'm thinking to myself, you know, how is this supposed to look? So I'm just going to duplicate this a few times. I'm going to change the list view item spacing to about 12, and I'm thinking, okay, so this is how it'll look. We're going to have you know, maybe a text box inside this. Okay, so I'm going to add a row here, and I'm going to add and I'm going to have some padding for the row so that it's again not touching the edges of the container, so about 12. Okay, and inside this row I'm going to have a text field, and I'm just thinking to myself, how would this text field I mean, I'm just trying, so right now what I'm trying to do, just for everyone's sake, I'm trying to build the UI first before I build the function. Okay, and so in the UI, like I told you, this is the template or the, you know, the inspiration for today's app building, right? So based on this, I need to get something in a way that the person puts the tasks here, clicks on this button, and then it shows up on the list. But what exactly shows up on the list? Well, that's what I am thinking to myself. Like, for example, what other things need to also be part of this add to list? You know, should there be an end date? Anything like that? Maybe is there something like tags that I could add? I'm just thinking, but right now I'm going to try and keep it simple, and this is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to add another, you know, like I'm just going to go look at my buttons list. Okay, let's go down here, and oh, I think I disappeared again. Here I am. Hi everyone, it's me, your boy Pramod. So let's see. I'm looking at a checkbox. Okay, so I'm just going to drag and place the checkbox here, give this internal spacing 12, you know, and this one is going to have some kind of, I'm just going to search for lorem ipsum generator so that I can just copy and paste some text in there really quickly and see how the UI looks. Okay, so let's say, where's the generator? Sorry. So let's say I copy this. This is my task item for the day, you know, and that's what it looks like. Looks kind of funky. Maybe it's because of the height, so I've given it a height of its own, and I don't want that. I mean, what do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section. Should I have a default height, like this is how big it must be, or do you want me to create this container to take the height of the text? So for example, what I mean is, if the text is this long, or the text is again this long, you know, I'm just going to wrap it. Do you want this item to take the size of the text, or do you think that do you think a fixed height is what we need? I don't know. Let me know in the comments section. Um, I think I'm going to go with a fixed height. And what I'm going to do for that is I'm going to select this text, set it up, wrap it up in a column so that I can set the item to center. And that doesn't work. So I'm going to go back. So if you're wondering what I'm trying to do here is, you can see here that this does not align. Okay. I'm going to wrap it in a container, and that's not working either. So my best case scenario is probably just having a little bit of spacing added to this text button. Let's say, is it 6? Do you think it's 6? Yeah, I think 6 is where things work out just right. So so if you're wondering what I'm doing, this checkbox has a little bit of spacing on top of it, right? And I want this to be centered, but if and when we, you know, have a long line like that, I want it to be moved up. Of the ununiformity. Okay, Vishak also thinks that, you know, the container should be fixed height, and I think too, you're right. So let me see. So here's the beauty of building this in Flutterflow. Okay, so I can just duplicate this and try a bunch of different heights. Okay, so this is how this one will look like. This is what this one will look like. So what do you guys think? So each of these will have a different height. However, if I set it to a constant height, like if I come in here and set it up as a constant height like this, okay, all of it will look uniform. All of it will look uniform, and I don't know, guys. I'm gonna, you know what? This is another important concept in software building. It doesn't matter. We can fix this later. What we need to do right now is get stuff done. Okay, so if I'm feeling confused about something, I'll just leave it there for the time being, and I'll come back to it in just, you know, when I get back to it. All right, so what we're going to do, what's going to happen is a person is going to add a task here, and this is going to add to list, and then it's going to show up here. And what we want to do is we want to be able to drag this and drop here when it's time for us to, you know, start working on it. So what I'm going to do for now, just to make sure the UI is all the same, I'm going to add this item here, okay, and I'm going to wrap this in a column so that, so here's what I'm talking about. If I want to give a little bit of space between these items, so the item spacing inside this column is about 24, but I want these two to live together. So I'm going to wrap these two in a column, all right, and I'm going to drag this and place it inside this column. Just align it to the start, and so this column has a separate space in between, and the parent column has a separate space in between. And what I'm going to do here also is I'm probably going to give a separate icon here, which is going to be I'm wondering, you know, what can that icon be? Let's see, let's go with an icon first. Okay, let's go with a icon or an icon button. I don't know. Okay, we'll come back to it in just a bit. Okay, so now we've got these items here. You know what? I'm just going to keep it like that for now so that everything looks all right. So now that we've got these items here, I want to move them here. So what do? I need to first define my you know, my database queries so that I can define what exactly is happening here. All right, so this one, I'm going to go to my database query. I'm going to add a Supabase query here which says tasks yeah, tasks, list of type, list of rows. Filter is going to be the user ref ID is going to be equal to the current logged in user. So when we do this, this person does not get access to another person's list of tasks. So that's a good. We're going to hit confirm, and this is what is going to happen. I'm just going to tag each of these element to task row, task heading, and the default variable is going to be error. And okay, something went wrong. Whoops. Something. Okay, this is called task heading. Okay. So we have an option to add the task heading and the description. So if you notice that in my backend, I have that as well. So we could probably add a task description as well in there. But for now, task heading kind of sounds, all right for now. Okay. So I also thought to myself, what if I add an icon here which says, let's look at this closer. I'm going to add again some kind of a padding here, okay, which says delete, because I may want to delete this task if I maybe added it but I don't want to use it anymore. I may want to delete this, and this is a pain. I would prefer, okay, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to just center everything, and I'm going to remove this item here for now, because this way everything is centered, and that looks much better than having maybe having a top alignment. Center alignment seems to work for now. All right, so that's one way of doing it. The other way is maybe having the delete button on this side. Okay, and then I'm going to set the row items to start from the edge, and this one is going to be aligned to the left and have a flex of 1, so that it takes up the entire space. All right, and then goes down. All right, that looks about right. I don't know which side should the delete button be. Should the delete button be on the right side, or should it be on the left side? Let me know in the comment section if you think that it should belong in a particular place on the UI. All right. Okay, I think we're going to need the same thing here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy this entire list view and paste it over here again. I'm just going to double check what the heck is going on. Yep, so I need a little more space for this, and it's getting cut off in this container. So this is where you have to kind of think, okay, how does this work? So if I remove the flex, is it going to take up the distance that it needs, or I still need it to be 1, or maybe what I can do is, okay, why don't I make that 2 and then make this instead as 3, so it has a different ratio. Okay, and in this list view item, here's the problem I'm seeing. We are going to need to allow only 3 items on this list. Okay, so we're going to have to do some interesting custom actions here. So I'm just thinking of how we would have to do that. But all right, so what I'm going to do for now is go to my backend row and limit to 3 items only. Okay, and we're going to quickly just run this. But in order for me to run this, okay, I am going to need, let's see, I believe I am going to need some kind of a login or test value. Okay, I'm just going to double check here if I have any login containers. Yeah, I have a login container which I could use to log in and check, and that way I am going to then add a navigate to, instead of home page, I'm going to navigate to PTM. All right, just to see what the heck is happening once we publish our app. Okay, so in the meantime, I'm also just going to go check my authentication on Supabase. So for those of you who don't know, this is Supabase. This is a low-code front-end developer, and I'm just looking at something 3rd April. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this run. Okay, I'm going to set it up in test mode, and on my back end I'm going to go add a user. I'm not going to show that to you because I don't want you guys to see all of the users that I have on the app right now. All right, so just gonna go back, add a new user. We're going to call it Pramod, p@g.com. This is just a test user. And I've created a user in my backend, so I can, when I log in from the front end, I can see what's going on. Okay, and similarly, what I'm going to do here really quickly is I'm going to add an ability to create a item. So I'm just going to go here, add to list, create an action here. It's going to open up here. I'm going to add a create Supabase account. No, that's not what we want. We want a Supabase insert. Okay, yeah, insert row. So we're going to say table tasks, add fields. I'm just going to look at all of the fields that I need, or maybe just a few fields that I need. Created at is not what I want. I want the task heading. Okay, and the value is going to come from that text field which we have. So add task here, that's the field, and we're going to add one more value, which is the user reference ID, which is over here. Let's see, which is the authenticated user, the user ID. All right, so that should be cool. Let's see if our test mode is working. I'm just going to go double check on my database if there are any mandatory fields that I need to fill in when I insert, because it's been a while since I updated this app. Looks like, yeah, looks about right. So I'm just going to try this for now. Okay, I'm just going to go and do an instant reload so that we can see the tasks that we've added. All right, if you guys have any comments, please let me know. More than happy to talk with you guys, because this is going to take a little bit of time. Okay, so what's happening right now is it's taking me to the wrong page. It's taking me to the home page. Okay, so what I'm going to do on my home page is add a big fat button over here, which takes me to the PTM page. Okay, just going to add that button here, and it's going to navigate me to the PTM page. Okay, all right, so we're going to do an instant reload once again. All right, how long has it been since we started? It's been about 36 minutes since we started, and we already have a very basic app ready with authentication, and a home page is ready to go. So even though I did the authentication part a little earlier, it would probably take me another 5 minutes at max if I did it right now. All right, so we'll click on this button, and we're going to add a task here. Here's new test task. Okay, and then we'll add it to the list, and let's see if anything is populating. So I don't think it's populating, but I can check in my backend if anything is happening, just to double check. Just go here, refresh this page. Nope, I haven't been able to add to the backend, so it's some issue on my side. Let's go and double check the PTM, and yes, this is how troubleshooting works essentially. Let's go to the add list and double check what the heck I'm doing here. Okay, insert row, tasks, task heading. That's about right. Everything looks good. User ID is about right. So true. Okay, so what I'm doing right now, I'm just checking my databases if there are any mandatory fields that I'm missing. Everything is nullable, so that's all right too. So not sure why I'm not able to insert into the database. This is the tasks fields. Okay, heading, user ref ID, value user ID. It should work. Okay, so let's maybe just go back in, do an instant reload and see if it's an issue with the test segment and not the app itself. All right, so by the way, if you're still watching, thank you for being here. I hope I'm able to teach you some new stuff. And yeah, there you go, new test task. So it's showing up. So what's not happening is a refresh of this is not happening, and I'm not sure why it's not showing up on my on my backend database as well. So I'm just going to refresh this, come back here and see. Okay, it is showing up on my database. Yikes, I don't know why I didn't see that before. Okay, let's see, edit column, freeze column. Okay, let's sort the column, pick a column created at, apply sorting. Okay, test new test task. Okay, so we'll just sort by descending so that the latest item shows up on top. So you can see here new test task shows up, and it's showing up here and here as well, because I've not set up any items. So what I need to do in order to distinguish between this and this, I kind of need a filter, and that filter will be the a field which I add over here. So it'll be, let's just say this field is underscore prioritized. Okay, description is, we don't need a description right now. This is going to be a boolean, so it's either a true or a false. A default value, let's say false. Okay, is primary key allowed nullable? Yes. Is unique? No. All of that looks good. I'm going to hit save, and so what I'm going to do now is lists in this row. Okay, I am going to add an additional filter here which says, oh, before I can get this filter, I need to go to my settings, go to Superbase and refresh my schema, because I changed the schema on my database side. So I'm going to come in here and just refresh it so that it's available to me on my Superbase side as well. So let's see, going back to our list here, changing the backend query, edit, add a new filter. Let's go here, is prioritized. There you go. Okay, so is prioritized equal to true. All right, so that's what we need. So only when the item becomes true, does it show up on this list. Okay, so let's just do an instant reload and check if that is working as well. So sometimes the instant reload doesn't take the last change that we made, so we may need to do an instant reload once again. Okay, let's see how this works. Just going to that page, and now you can see that because this new test task does not have is prioritized, it doesn't show up there. Let's add a new one, another new task. Okay, so I'm going to need a setup here which also says I'm going to add another action which says refresh database request. Okay, and I'm going to select list view. Okay, list view 1, which I believe is this one. Okay, so this is one of the reasons why it's good to change your have a good naming convention. So I'm going to say brain dump, it'll be one word, brain dump. Okay, all list underscore brain dump. Okay, and this is going to be list underscore prioritized. Do you use Z or S when you write prioritized? Let me know in the comment section. Do you follow the American version or the anglicized Indian version? I don't know, the anglicized version, I would say. Okay, so now that we've done that, okay, we're going to make sure that the request is for the list prioritized. No, it's for the list brain dump. Okay, and we will once again hit the instant reload, so that what happens is when we add a field, okay, we are going to also refresh the database request to get the new value, and the new value will show up on our page. So that's what we've just done. Let's look at it now. Go back to our prioritized time box page. We'll say item 3, add to list, and there you go. You see that? So when I click on this button, it shows up here. Woohoo! All right, so now we need to talk about a drag and drop feature where we are able to pick something from here and drop it here, and when that happens, it needs to change the priority to true and then refresh this database so that it shows up here. So how are we going to do that? Well, very easy. We're going to click on this container, all right, and we are going to wrap it in a draggable widget. Okay, and this entire section, okay, where is list prioritized, we are, or maybe this entire section over here, maybe, you know what, I probably need to set up a wrap widget over here for it to be a container and give it a minimum height of like 100, so that, you know, even if this is empty, this list is empty, there's at least a space where we can drag and drop things to. Okay, so I'm just going to wrap this widget now in a drag target. Okay, and each of these items are also going to be wrapped around a draggable, and this section here I'm going to do the same thing here, because if I want to drag something from here and drop it here, all right, I'm going to give this section also a list brain dump. I'm going to wrap it in a container. Okay, just for consistency, I'm going to give it a minimum height of 100, and then this container I'm going to wrap in a drag target. All right, so now we need to talk about what happens when, you know, we drag something from here and drop it here. So let's just look at this draggable, or let's look at this drag target. Look at its settings, okay, and open its settings. So on drag accept, what I want to do is I want to insert or update row, okay, in the, let's say, where is Superbase? Yeah, Superbase update rows. Okay, the table is tasks, the matching row is the ID, where is it coming from? We're going to select the drag target, drag data. Okay, and this is something I need to figure out in just a minute. Drag data. I forgot how to do this, so I'll have to look this up once more. So this is the container, this is the draggable. All right, I'm just going to click here and see if I have any actions on tap, on double tap, on long press. Okay, that's not what we want. We want this item here, draggable. Okay, we want an item to have an, oh sorry, let's go to the drag target once more. Why am I not able to select? Okay, matching rows, I need the ID equal to the drag target. Oh sorry, not drag target, drag target, drag data. Yes, it is the drag data item, but I'm not able to select anything from this dragged data item, which is you know what, maybe I need to add another field in here, which is for the ID, so that the ID is also available in this. Let me see. Okay, let me just see if I should do that. I get the row field, okay, and the ID, and have the ID field in here. And let me see if that makes the dragged target item show me another value. Okay, I'm just going to go in here and search for the drag target, and it's still not available. So when I run into issues like this, I go into Flutter Flows, documentation, draggable. So there is a video, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to watch the video, and you're free to watch the video with me, or you can pause this video right now and come back a little later. All right,
interfaces like this and like this inside the draggable, and we can bind the value coming from our color swatch. You how to do
how's that happening?
I have an app state variable of colors right here. It's a list of colors I've got defined. So let's have that. Let's come down to my row right here, and let's bind that app state variable to this right here.
So wait, do I need to use an app state? The best way for me to check that is to check another application that I was building. Let's go back to app.flutterflow and look at another application that I was building recently, where I enabled the drag and drop feature, and I'm just going to double check how the heck I did that. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to go to the page where I did that. To V5. So if you're wondering what I'm looking at, this is what I'm looking at. I enabled this for my other application Evalo, and the way it works is you select on the list view, okay, and let's see here. As you can see, this is a much more complex app than the other one, but I was able to manage on this one, so I'm curious why the other one doesn't work. So let's see, quest draggable is not, we want the drag target. All right, so I came in here, action, update row, matching row, filter, ID equal to draggable data ID, right? That's what it is. So then why am I not getting the ID from the draggable data? This is one of those days where, something really simple messes up your workflow. And it's interesting, it came up right at the 1 hour mark. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try for some more time if I can solve this. If I can't solve this in this episode, then we will be going live again tomorrow, or and I'll show you how I solve this in the next live episode. All right. So let's see here. Let's take a few moments, and if we reach the 1 hour mark, we can wrap up our live stream, because I'm not getting a lot of questions. So I'm assuming you guys don't have any questions around software development at the moment. So I might as well just build this by myself, right? All right. Let's look at this once more. We're looking at the dragged target. Okay, there's no ID field in here. There should be an ID field somewhere. Looking at the list prioritized. Let me try on this task, okay? Add field, super base, update rows, tasks, matching rows, the ID. It is the ID, right? The ID, yes, the ID equal to drag target. Drag data is not giving me any values. Why is that? Why is that not giving me any values? Dragged data is not giving me any values. I'm not sure. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap up for today's live stream. I'm going to go back, learn how this setting is made, and then tomorrow I'm going to show you how I solve that problem. All right. So thank you for sticking around with me. I'm really glad that you're here. If you have any questions, you can feel free to let me know in the comments, or you can just send me an email at pramod@pramodgeorge.com. Remember, we teach all of these things and more in the Founders Club. So if you want to start building your app, you want to get out of the 9 to 5 rat race and build your own future, then I welcome you, and I will see you in the next episode.